So, just before I get back into reading the story, I do want to say that apologies for the music in the last episode, as I put the music too loud by accident and that was pointed out to me. So, thank you, Ross. Yeah, Ross. Thank you, Ross. And hopefully, I probably won't add any music this time, but if I do, it'll be much quieter. So, in any case, here we go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a Martian by the probe. If it kills you, let it go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, downstairs! Down south we go with our souls. So the downstairs area was probably, well, it was actually what you might or might not expect, depending on your point of view. So on the first or second floor, there was an ensuite bathroom and a luxury master bedroom. Yeah, okay. It was, as I said before, in the middle of Martian space, but I mean, it's the future, anything can happen. I won't go into too much detail, because that would take too long. And then below that, there was a basement floor, which was just a simple, a space basement. Or as I like to call it, a spacement. Stupid, right? Yeah. So as I said, I'm not going into lots of detail. Only what there was, and what exactly I can remember of it. Okay? Okay. So anyhow, this basement is exactly what I said it was. Space basement, in other words. Practically a normal basement, but in outer space. So the upstairs rooms, now that's a whole other story. Well, of course, not exactly. I'm over-exaggerating. So the first top floor was a secondary living quarters area with a twist. It had an escape capsule that was still attached to the ship. So you could eject the capsule and be gently lifted off into the giant floating impenetrable sphere of space vacuum resistant proportions that was the size of the actual secondary quarters itself, because that's what the capsule was. It was the quarters, not just part of it instead. The other top floor was also space vacuum resistant and could also be ejected alongside the quarters one level below. I can't really remember what it was. I believe it was a balcony. I can't remember what it looked like, but I do remember that it was beautiful. I also actually never mentioned why all of this was affordable. Well, that's because technology has unlimited potential. But to unlock that unlimited potential, there are nearly incalculable, is that right, limits that need to be pushed in order to make that happen. The boundaries of technology need to be pushed so far, in fact, it almost seems as if they never end. However, limits are not limitless, but they technically can be. It all depends on how far something can be developed. If something has infinite potential, then with every positive there is, or are, negatives. Think yin and yang, black and white, yes and no, positive and negative. We all know Shia LaBeouf said nothing is impossible. However, that's not true. One can only exist with the other, or at least that would be the most logical solution. If the other isn't there, then the logical solution to that would be that it can't exist, and there's no point to having the first part. Two halves of one whole. There are some technological problems with creating new technology. If something defies the laws of science, technology, and nature itself, etc., blah blah blah, then it cannot be made. It must obey the creative standard laws if it is to exist. Some things will undoubtedly take longer than others to make. For example, take lightsabers from Star Wars. Can light be contained in such a way that it is controlled? Not necessarily. Light could possibly be contained, but it is next to absolutely 100% indefinitely impossible. Undoubtedly, should I also say. And it cannot be controlled, full stop. There's no way that light could naturally be controlled at all. Even with the advancement of technology as far as it may go, even if it has infinite potential. But anyways, a lightsaber is said to have weight from both ends. Now this means that both the light itself and the hilt. So to create a lightsaber would mean that it would most likely be extremely lightweight, as there would be no other option. It would be extremely lightweight, and too light to actually move with precision and control. You'd literally be waving around the hilt and nothing else. Because light doesn't weigh anything, so therefore it is not wieldable. And the short version is, well, it's science fantasy. so therefore it couldn't be created correctly, or next to not at all, if it is fantasy based. It defies our universal laws of science and our understanding of science and technology, or thereabouts. Defining what it is, of how something and why something is so complex that we are incapable of creating it at any stage, with any state of potentially infinite technology that exists. But okay, can we get onto the main storyline, I hear you say? Yes, I'm done rambling on about technology. But unfortunately I got more where that came from, about the terraforming of Mars. But I'll save that for later. So back to the main focus at hand. Next up was the Armory. Long story short, gigantic! Several floors of training areas, battleground simulations, a live multiplayer system, customizable weaponry, armor, special gear, class-specific general, the whole damn lot, and the whole 9 yards. I was part of the Special Operations Galactic Marines Alpha Division, or SOGMAD. Yeah. But any and all Special Ops foundries had access to all weapons and all armor at the cost of how long they would stay. But I have been classed as one of the primary commanders of the Special Ops, let alone my own team. But you didn't know that. But you didn't see that coming. Hey! So that basically meant I had unlimited access to all supplies, and I could advance my loadout with, quite frankly, anything. So that's what I did. I advanced my loadout so far, in fact, that I upgraded quite possibly everything to the max. As so far as the technology may go at the time. In every single aspect, by the way. Sounds like a Call of Duty's or a Destiny's fanboy's dream, right? Yeah. If it sounds ridiculous, that's because it is. But once again, it is the future. The docking bay was pretty standard, just simply a multi-storage area for all manner of space and planet-worthy vehicles, both land and air. Oh, and sea, not to forget. Practically nothing else to it, I'm afraid. The same went for the cafeteria as well, just as much as you'd expect in space. So no detail there either, I'm sorry to say. Even the briefing complex wasn't much similar to the holodeck on the ship. The briefing complex here was basically a much more advanced and complex version of the one on the ship. However, the prison block or the detention cells were much more different. You wouldn't find anything as horrific and disturbingly haunted as this on Earth. I bet you not even 25,000 years in the future from this very day that I speak to you. Not just then, but right now. Although, having said that, maybe, just maybe. Oh well, screw it. You never know what the future may or may not behold. Let alone the fact that you think you can probably guess what will definitely or definitely not happen. So that's all I've got done so far of the story. I've got more of it to write. I'm just less than halfway through the prologue. I've got about 9.5 pages, maybe a little bit shorter than that. I'm going to do 20 pages for each chapter, and I know that seems like a lot, but I'm going to make 15 chapters and 20 pages, so about 300 pages thereabouts. But there you go, that's really all I got time for. That's it, that's all I've got written. So there you go. If you want, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want, I can't make you. Like I said, not doing this for subscribers. I'm doing this just because I want to, because I've been inspired by other people. Most notably, Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, and so forth. But anyway, you can follow me on Quotev, which is the site that I actually publish this story to, or what I've got done of it so far. So QUOTEV, and follow me by Infinitex Database. Infinitex, Infinite, and then TEX, I believe, or something like that. All one word, by the way. Infinitex and then database. Those are two separate words. But anyway, yeah, rambling on here. So yeah, that's it. And don't forget to follow me on Facebook by Destinarchy Legacy. And that's it, basically. So, yeah. Follow your dreams. May they guide you to the best hope of the future. And I'll see you on Infinitex. Farewell, legends.